The bread meme coin on the base chain is climbing from one high to the next. It's going up today, it went up the last week, it's climbing and climbing, and the question is, what's behind this? Is this accumulation by the centralized exchanges that might end up manipulating the price and then dumping it? Or is there actually more and more retail investors buying in? Let's have a look. So currently we are at 13 cents. We are up 12% today. Don't mistake the bread on the base chain with the bread on the Solana chain. The bread on Solana looks way weaker. We are focusing on the base version only, which by the way went up by 50% in the last week and it more than 3x'd in the last month. But we did see some weaknesses before in the price. What caused those? Now bread is one of the leading meme coins on the base chain. Unfortunately, the base chain isn't growing that quickly anymore compared to 2 or 3 months ago. In the last month, base only grew by 11%, while Arbitrum grew by 25%, Ethereum by 22%. The Blast chain, the new Blast chain, grew most by 41%. I believe there's a lot of opportunity on the Blast chain. Just look at this, a very nice constant growth. But let's check out the on-chain metrics about bread. How many people are buying into this? How many people have $1,000 worth of bread? How many have $10,000? How many have 100,000? Let's look at the breakdown. So here we've got exactly those charts. On the left is the number of wallets that have $1,000, in the middle 10,000, on the right 100,000. Those are very long-term charts. They start since launch of the token in February of this year. And we do see very constant growth, except for the whales, except for the wallets that have at least $100,000 worth of the token at the current prices, by the way. So we're not really looking at dollars, we are looking at a minimum threshold in terms of tokens. So on the right side, we've got 1 million tokens. Now let's zoom into the recent price action where the price more than 3x'd. Here are the same kinds of charts, but only for the last month. All wallet cohorts are accumulating, some faster than others, but the number of retail investors grew by roughly 20%. The number of medium-sized retail grew a bit less, maybe 17-18%, and the number of whale wallets roughly by 10%. But there's no selling, at least the number of investors with every cohort is not falling, it's growing. Especially the right chart over here is important because this chart is 100 times more important than this chart, at least according to the minimum holding thresholds. Overall, the altcoins, relatively speaking to the rest of the market, are comparatively cheap right now. Because Ethereum gained a lot with the ETF approval, Bitcoin also gained a lot because now pension funds are buying into it. And so the altcoins did, relatively speaking, underperform a little bit, but they might catch up again. There's one thing that's taming the altcoin growth somewhat, and that's the market cap of the stablecoins. That's not growing for the last 2 months roughly. And if we don't see further growth, there is a chance of a crash, especially in highly levered DeFi. We had seen this in 2022, right? So this is simply just an overlay of that crash. When we go sideways for long enough, that's pretty bad. So in terms of liquidity pool size, bread is the 10th largest token on the base chain. Relative to all meme coins across all chains, bread is at number 7. So there's roughly a 3x to beat dog with head. But on the other hand, the total value locked of Solana versus base is also 3 times the size. The positive news is that there's accumulation across the board and that the centralized exchanges haven't yet taken over. Because have a look at where bread is traded. A lot of trading volume still happens on chain, on Aerodrome. There is Gate.io and Bybit, and yes, the trading volume, relatively speaking, is larger here, but that's also because of a lot of arbitrage bots. 9% of trading volume on a decentralized exchange for a token of that size is still decent. So I'm going to buy some bread as well. I haven't bought any bread yet because I always announce beforehand whenever I buy. I announce this here in YouTube first. I never front run you guys. For bread, that's maybe not that important because the asset is that large, but still it's a principle I have. I don't buy before to then promote it on YouTube. I don't like that conflict of interest. If you're interested in the on-chain metrics that we looked at in this video, if you're interested in the things that I buy in general, right? I don't announce every purchase on YouTube. I only announce some. Then feel free to check out the premium membership down below. It's thebitcoinstrader.com. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly, also on bread, so don't miss that. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It does help the channel grow. There's also a free Telegram. Feel free to check that out. Link is as well down below. Looking forward to chatting with you.